right? I gotta get my mask ready, bro. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get my mask ready, bro. Gotta get my mask ready, bro. Can I say watermelon in Spanish? Español? No. Where's that? I'm getting somewhere. I'm rocking. Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? Yeah, I was watching. I went to the beginning because I caught it late. I didn't get his notification. I was watching Cure Meal. I went back and looked at one of the Chapter Highest videos I really like. I'm gonna reshare it. I was just saving them. I was looking at a couple of rondos I hadn't missed because nobody was notified. Plus nobody was. Well, they're not notified. Subscribe to Rondo. He's putting it down. Chapter Highest got some more good information. He's very subjective. I like it. I even went over to Anu Thunder's page because I haven't seen his stuff in a long time, Went back to West Side to watch some of the videos we had, and everything like that. Really, really enjoyed the stuff. Wish he was doing it again. Watermelon and lemon. I actually made that. So Rondo should tell you, I buy these. They have like 3 different sizes. Well, they got big platters. But I look for the watermelons with the seeds that come through every once in a while, and it's like $3, $5, $10, $15. It depends on what size. So I got the $10 one today, and I juiced a whole bunch, put it in the fridge, and I had lemon and a little lime and some rosemary petals. And that's what I'm sipping on right there. I'm just using the container. I mean, we're all full of 9P fasts anyway, right? So how's it going? So I want to share a little more information. I know there's people out there that probably know this. I mean, if it's in Google, but I want to push beyond what they've said. I didn't research no videos. I don't like looking at other people's material because a lot of times I get a little upset. I'm like, oh man, here we go with one of them. You know what I mean? I wanted to share a little more about Master Fard. His name was Wallace Fard. And what did I tell you about Persia, about the Iranians? The majority of the original people aren't there no more. They're Sephardic or crypto Jews, mostly Sephardic, meaning Ashkenazi. Of an Ashkenazi, and look at the blood. Just go and look at the blood quantum, okay? That's why I keep saying all these wars made to this, that, and the other, and what they've been doing with three cousins. When you think about World War I, when you think about Germany, Britain, and Russia, with that war alone, 3 cousins were established and put in position by these very same people because they're all related. They don't care about their relatives. Remember I was reading the name from Gomer, Mizraim, all those different names? Those are the ones he used. They use as pawns. Now, I still don't believe they're Ashkenazis. I don't believe they're from here. But don't worry about, because I'm not, I don't have a belief. I know or I don't know. Okay, anyway. What I'm saying is, I find it very important that people pay attention to this. So, again, when you want to talk about the last name Fard, it's Iranian, and it is when you think about 1934 when he started teaching that he had 50 aliases. Now go and pull up the aliases that's under cap and key. Why has nobody Freedom of Information Act pulled it up? I looked at some of the ones they put out there, and I'm like, you got to be. I guess they figure we're all guinea pigs. Anyway, you got to remember, Fard is an individual, unique name. It's unique from Persia. Iranian, as far as Persians, whatever you want to call it, all right, and it's of Arabic origin, at least by the narrative, the new narrative. Remember, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. Okay, he established first the Hebrew Israelite movement. Then he went and created. Well, some people want to point to this other gentleman. What was his name? What was this guy's name? I think he was in prison from 1910 to 1920. I believe his name was Lucius Lehman. Lehman is another, and they say it was African, but Lehman. Let's see if we can type in Lehman and see where that name comes from. And I believe when you want to get to the moral science simple, the idiot who created that after he was locked up. Nobody really hears about this guy because he dealt with Drew Ali and those idiots as well. Now, why am I saying this? Because we have these guys talking this Moorish nonsense, and I'm getting really, really tired. And it's real simple to break this crap down. It is not a complicated thing. All right. Now, just to let you know, they equate Lucius Lehman with Wallace Fard Muhammad. Okay, but I want to give you another picture. Okay. I'm serious. Although no, they equate him with the individual I just told you. And is they one and the same? I would say yes. Let me pull it up. So I didn't save none of the pictures of this individual or whatever you want to call him. Just no need to. Okay. Because it gets pretty deep, and I believe he is one and the same. So W. Fard Muhammad, I believe, is again. Let me pull it up. Okay, where's that? All right, I found it on Lucius Lehman. So what I'm going to look at, I'm going to pull up is a picture of this individual. And you got to remember, people think that today is where they do hack jobs on pictures. They were doing it back then, y'all. Okay? When I was telling people that newspapers and pictures are new, they were like, what are you talking about? I mean, newspapers and I'm talking news pictures and movie pictures and all that other movie pictures back then are old. They're beyond 1700s. It's just that they redelivered it as if it was something new. All right? I'm trying to pull this up. You want to see an African American? Yeah. Oh, that's in the Library of Congress. You can pull it up. Do yourself that favor. I'm going to show you the picture here in a minute. I just hope you're very patient. It would be nice, right? Do a little green screen, which I could do that here, but I'm not doing that shit. That stuff. Okay. But you got to remember, that's Benjamin F. Butler, African American. I know, a Jew. Look, man, I'm not making this stuff up. You can look it up and pull it up yourself. African American prince and blah, 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 blah. All right? Butler himself. All right? A traitorous ass nigga. Okay. This is not a game, y'all. Okay. Okay, let me here we go. All right, let me make sure I've got it. All right, download it. Okay. So we know that we already looked at these pictures of Farad, the Persian, with no place they can say he comes from, right? Master Farad Muhammad, Lucius, right there, when he was locked up over here, and here he is as a young man locked up before in 1934. You got to remember what he came here for and what he was doing. Who created the so-called African American Muslim movement? The colored genius, Lucius Lehman, and the Californian roots of modern African American Islam. What say you? So again, the name. Again, for those who have a hard time expressing this, Lucius Lehman. Now, let's go ahead and pull this up because I believe this is very important. Okay, and then we're going to get into our reading. They're gonna go with that stuff, okay? Oh, they don't want to tell them themselves. You see, they're not going to tell them themselves. Oh, it's in there. You can find it. I've read it before. As I stated, the Zahir history and genealogy, when you want to get into, for art, a layman. As I said, Sephardic or crypto Jew. Lehman. You already know Lehman and y'all know the names, okay? Like Warner and all that. And the first thing they want to do is hide it. And that's the updating stuff they do. Emma, wife of Lehman Furry, 1889. And we know that he was not born here. Just popped up on the scene. Then disappeared. So there's a coat of arms and all that. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Let's go ahead. I'm like, wow, damn, that battery's going dead. This must be some Chinese-made batteries, bro. Like, for real. That shit went dead quick. Put them in there, what, a week and a half ago, and I only used it like 3 times? Okay. Oh, that battery's downstairs, so I'm not going to... Yeah, I'm not going to use those. And what are those over? Because I have brought batteries. I got some in the bag. I'm not digging through the bag. Anyway, you can see me. I'm not going to sweat it. Okay? That's my reading light. I don't need it because that light over there is bright. So let's get us some reading. We're going to go with... Yeah, we'll get into William Cooper last. Just want to read some parts to that. We're going to exposing the expositions 1851-1950, revised 2021 from the 2019. Howdy Mikowski. And then, you know, that's the Court of Honor, Chicago. Okay, Chicago. Okay. Some other names people mention it a number of different ways. Let's go ahead and get right into that and read that right quick. And then we're going to go right into the Hidden Lands Beyond Antarctica. I think we have like 2 more chapters, maybe 3. Okay. So I hope your memory is good and you remember where we left off. Thanks for donations. I believe somebody made a donation. Let's first get that out of the way, and I'm going to shout you guys out again. My apologies. Excuse me. Some people got the fire up on them, and I appreciate it. Okay. All right. We got Pew Like. Appreciate that. Lloyd Carter. Appreciate that. Marcus William. Thank you. That's all I'm talking about. It could have been less than that, beloved. Appreciate you. That's all I'm saying. Everybody chip in. You know, some people chipped in more than enough, but I appreciate those donations, beloved ones. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. Nothing's less or greater. All right? So let's go ahead. It's a little dark in here, and I'm not going to change the lighting on the screen. It'll black out anyway. Yeah, well, we realized, excuse me. I know I do that, but I'm tired, y'all. I'm not going to lie. Usually when usually I like to pick up when we left off at a little sometimes, right? When we were last talking about, we were talking about the times and how long it takes to build a lot of these grand cities on like 7,000 acres and all that. And some of you know how big an acre is. And imagine 40. Any y'all ever walked the perimeter of 10, 20, 30, 40, even 100 acres or drove 100 acres? Now imagine building something on like 4,000 acres. You're not going to do that in 2 years. I don't give a damn how many men you have. There's too much logistics going in, design, this, that, soil, leveling, this. And these people didn't have that skill coming off the boat, and those orphans that were reared and nurtured who have been gold mining and all that other crap. The fake South and the fake West narrative that they paint in Hollywood, as far as that's why they call them spaghetti Westerns, because it's all a bunch of mixed up, combobulated nonsense. Has nothing to do with reality, but the frailty of their fervent lies to eradicate history. So we went over that and we looked at the London Crystal Palace. So let's pick it up. Basic history claims that, my apologies. So I already told you his name is Howdy Mikowski, and I showed you the book. Okay. Basic history claims that what became the modern great fairs evolved from local English and French fairs of the 1700s, which were a sort of combined business exhibit and public entertainment for the local area. Now, Bancroft's look at French fairs, now, 1700s. Now, if we were to go back to Arthur Koestler's and we read up to the 600, all of a sudden there's a period of disappearance. Then there's a reemergence. Who were they conquering? How long was it taking? Remember, in the 6th century, all the 1600s, all of a sudden Japan and China came into existence, just as well as Russia from Georgia. Turkey, all of a sudden, from the Turks, became the Ottoman Empire. We can keep going. Anyway, which were a sort of combined business exhibit and public entertainment for the local area. Now, Bancroft's look at French fairs are very telling, for after mentioning the fairs at Lyons and St. Denis, granted to the monks of Dagobert, okay, look that up, he then mentions two locations, Champagne and Troyes. Okay, these are the two French sites that are most connected with the stories of the Holy Grail and with the Knights Templar, whose charter came at Troyes. Now, the Knight Templars aren't these punk, faggot, fake motherfuckers running around. The Templar Knights were great builders, and they were part of Tartan. Facts. I don't care what anybody thinks or believes. And they were expunged and expelled and destroyed once Tartary started falling in certain places as they just took over the buildings. All right. Research. This is an interesting thing to consider. The early French fairs are linked with the two most mysterious concepts of the last 1,000 years, surprisingly. Starting to make sense? While the first large fair happened at the end of the 1700s in Prague, which we already covered earlier, it was an exhibition the next year, 1798, in Paris, that was special. Current history still claims that the first world-sanctioned fair happened in England. Now, this is after they started establishing the new monarchs, once killing off the original people, collecting the bones of great warriors who were poisoned, and stacking them up under the so-called fake Vatican. And numerous other, even that fake cat Windsor and all them places. Yeah, bones and all, tunnels and everything. Some sick stuff, y'all. Happened in England, listen to this. World Sanctioned Fair happened in England in 1851, as mentioned. But this is untrue, okay? The first one worthy of the name, though lasting but for 3 days with only 110 exhibitors, was the Temple of Industry, erected by Napoleon in 1798, in the Champs de Mars. Now, we all know Napoleon, it's not his real name, was melanated. Was not the fictional character they always throwing up in your faces, okay? They don't even talk about that history no more, all right? They just let the people run around as if it was some real thing. You ought to see some people when they're talking about it. Yeah, Napoleon, yeah, he was great. It was like, oh, because his pale skin. Huh? That's not who he was. He was 3 shades darker than me. Brunette. Had nothing to do with the hair. Had to do with skin color. Anyway, as I've been saying for years, okay? Again, in the Champs de Mars, okay? Napoleon was at the forefront of these early fairs. He was off capturing Egypt at the time. Ergo, Louisiana. Caribs. You think it's a game? Okay. Look at the dates compared to other dates they've told you in other stories. It's not complicated, people. Okay? Anywho, that it came just 10 years after the start, anyway, Egypt at the time, and kept them going once he became emperor. That they came just 10 years after the start of the French Revolution may reveal a hidden reasoning for these original fairs. The time after the Revolution had giant festivals, such as the Festival of Law, 1792. They were showing the spoils of their war. Of the Festival of the Supreme Being in 1794. They conquered the gods. And there was a need to revise the history of France to suit its purposes. They didn't conquer them by themselves, trust me that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So now they must poison everybody slowly. Oh, the Micmac, the Pequot, the Thanksgiving of, thank you for everything you've given. We've given you nothing back. And so fuck you. We're going to do you good. And so you got these little weirdo, Down syndrome, mentally ill, depraved monkeys like Boneberg and all the rest of them running around doing the most horrendous things because snuff films belong to Hollywood. And they belong to the depraved and sick. You dig what I'm saying? Anyway, let's go and read on. So the Festival of the Supreme Being in 1794. And there was a need to revise the history of France to suit its purposes. We're going to stop there. I think that is more than enough drip. Tea. Y'all, for those who followed this one, I read it before. It's going to get good again. And I'm reading it. Good thing I'm reading it with this. It kind of gives it a. It gives it. It gives it some boxers for the men, and some brassieres for the. And some what do you call them things? We used to call them moms, or them big old bloomers for the women. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Draws for the men, and bloomers for the women. I'm just old school, okay? Don't get all twisted. Anyway, let me say hi to everybody again. Rondo, Delusion of Humanity. You got them all. Appreciate it. Snoo, what's up, baby? What's up, love? Mikey Cox, my apologies. Lloyd, what's happening? What's going on, beloveds? Herbo in the house. What's up, Papa D? What's going on? What's going on, beloved? What's happening? What's happening? I hope y'all enjoy this reading because I'm gonna tighten them up. You know what I'm saying? Six Boss was cracking. Yes, sir. Lucius Layman, who was proclaiming himself as a Muslim religious leader in the colony, he was Farad, honey. William Farad. Persia. Came here, a lot of things going on. You got to have a backstory for a person that disappears. You dig what I'm saying? To give it some kind of thing, because you got to remember they helped create the fake mafia. Talking about when they were coming from Italy, and no, they were still in the throes of bloodletting and killing because of the indigenous people and the raping of the women and these new generation of young men that came here to conquer this land. Original lone wolves, beloved, and most of them don't know that. And the only ones in the secret societies higher up and those goofy things know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, didn't get caught up in some shit. And yes, my uncle is on in Detroit. We had a long discussion about that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, they didn't know how to act out here. Jay Bay, what's going on, beloved? James Bond, what's cracking? April 11, 1803, a treaty. April 30, signed May 2nd, was the work of that gave Louisiana to the United States in exchange for $11.25, which we had no significant need for use for money, so they really didn't buy nothing. They gypped their way in. That's why I keep telling people that's all they know. They don't own a goddamn thing, but our people are still running around stupid, and the new generation is so fucking gone. You know what I'm saying? Wild India, what's going on, tribe? Anyway, let's get back to reading, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and hit the hidden lands beyond Antarctica. It's only one. I think it's not too long. This hidden lands beyond Antarctica is told by William Morris's daughter. Further on, the continuation of Morris's journey between interconnected planets, and we already read how he just died, and Butler, being the captain who he subjugated, brought him to the new world, to the lands beyond Antarctica. Remember, he was playing. It was destroyed, hitting the barrier, whatever caused it, the coupling of the thermals of the metachlorines thickened or whatever it's made of. All right, their ship was a little more broken, so it couldn't penetrate it. Okay, Nos Confounded with Claudio Maselli. There he is. That's the book. All right, let's keep the donations coming. I appreciate it. When the ads come up, watch them. Somebody made a statement about the ads. Just when you see an ad, just watch it. Watch it all the way through. Turn it down if you don't want to see it. Just pay attention. That's all. Let it play. I appreciate it. So anyway, in this book, we're in chapter 32, A New Tartary. Remember, last when we read, we were talking about from Butler's eyes as to what he saw, not how it was perceived. He actually gave a point-to-point explanation to William's daughter and the crew of those who died on that ship and the fact that he was on there. And he felt like he was about to have a heart attack or die something. And he was very old, y'all. He got to live a little longer than he would have here. You got to remember these things, okay? So anyway, chapter 32, A New Tartary. It's about 3 paragraphs. It is complex to interpret and digest a death, be it there within their lands or outside of them. Be it, in other words, wherever it happens, mind you. My Father will always be present with me here in my heart, and not only in mine, in the hearts of so many ancestors who accept that William Morris was not only a visitor, but the one who led us all to better understand the atrocities that are carried out and suffered by the brothers of the new humanity. 7th reset, right? Remember how I always said 7 was important when it's 3, 6, 9s, when you understand frequencies and balances? Snake eyes, 7-Eleven, 9-11, 2. Snake eyes from 9, 7. I'm not going to get to gematria here. Anyway, it's very functional. It's very reasoning because they can't move without computation and what you pour into the belief structure of it. Is it starting to make some sense? And each one of the modifications that our bodies suffered from birth. Now, whatever the generation, each one was entering a perverse and manipulated world, made our world a worse one every day. They not only contaminate their environment, but also their genetics so that each year is not a fruitful year, but one less of life. Humanity is sick and slowly dies because of the famous aging that they call natural process. Nothing natural about it. They will fill their mouths talking about epigenetic alterations, telomeres, cellular synthesis, and many other factors to explain something that we believe that many leaders or people at the top know perfectly well, the alteration that human bodies suffer in the circle environment. Yes, these bastards know they're going to suffer. You can watch me all day. It doesn't mean a goddamn thing. There's no way out of it. And they could have changed. But these old fucks have become the old fucks they are. Bottom line. So they might as well embrace this shit. Anyway, the environment vitiated by the custodian hands and those pyramids that observe and define in the distance when to start the cycle. We do not leave the plan to free humanity aside. It is our main goal, even when we know that we put at risk the lives of everyone behind the ice walls and the first dome, all the lands that surround it, and all the nearby civilizations that exist. As we already know, Shiki and her journey to the gates of Asgard could change history. A new path and strategy was open forever, and my father knew it perfectly since he learned of that moment. The giant humans plunged back into the mud, and that means that we will accompany them. We cannot let our ancestral brothers die in vain. Giants and new humans who fought and fight for their lands. My dear father, William Morris, knew it, and he came back here to tell us about his reunion with the brothers of the new humanity, and also to say that Shiki had returned to the known lands and was heading to Asgard, where it all began. And we then have a mission to carry on just as my father wanted. Today also begins here the path to human liberation. The giants and the ancestral humanity unite for a new beginning, a new Tartary. I say things about Tartary because I know the people who are quoting Tartary don't know the first thing about what Tartary actually means. None of them do. Trust me. Not near one of them. Next time, chapter 23, we'll begin in the Helen Morris's response to manipulation of the new humanity, so that way you have a further decent breakdown. It's not like Claudio Nocelli wouldn't know it. Obviously, you see the things going on, so you can derive many derivatives, and there are a number of books out there that are plausible, going back to William Cooper and Manly Hall, many people before that, stating about the Black Plague, that that the patent and everything actually was created in Ohio. The numbers were too great. People had fought for them, their cousins and all that stuff, or whatever you want to call them, hybrid, whatever. And they had to get rid of as many as possible. Like you always hear these Jews talking about 6 million Jews and died in pure blatant ass lie. Mostly Spaniards, Moroccans, some of the Xi, Russia, other places close by, Poles, yes, died in Auschwitz and all those other places. And a lot of our people who were there in Germany were persecuted and died. Now, some were freed, but majority dead due to research. They called them the Black Germans. Many lived after. And some of them were in those goddamn centers. Why would they be there? It's not about race. It's about the eradication of the old world and creating a new one. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to our Heaven Bearers, The Great Reset of 1834 and the Mud Flood by Janine Helen. What a little sweetheart. This is a little while ago. There you go, guys. For those who have it, you can read along. For those who have been reading it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. As far as sometimes when people are writing, I've done it. You get this. You forget punctuation and grammatical errors happen and all that stuff. So, and sometimes I miss when I'm reading too. So I'm not gonna lie. Fill this up again. Oh, I'm hungry because you gotta remember there's chemicals they put in all the food, and I'm hungry, but I'm not. I got enough shit on me the last 2 months. Just going. What was that? Aeritarian? Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Here we go. Ooh, child. Things are gonna get easier. Not for her. Okay. Now, last when we left off, it was right at can we talk it? Talk. It should say talk about it another day. This is what it wrote. Can we talk it about it another day? That's a typo. Okay. So anyway, can we talk about it another day? I would prefer if you would just rest. So this is after all the things she had been hidden. Malcolm found her in the bottom. He brought the cane, brought her up, and he said he would go back for the portrait of his mother and his father. Well, his mother, at least. And he wanted her to rest, but she was healing very quickly. Okay, so now let's pick it up from there. Now we can't. She shakes her head and gives him a sweet smile. I have just this one question for now, and I expect a thorough answer, Mr. Harrington. She kisses him again, Malcolm Harrington, her betrothed, arranged husband, the Mason, something else, okay? Excuse me. She kisses him again, and he doesn't understand what is wrong with her. She normally cringes at the mere touch of him. She never enjoys him. Not really. He could feel and sense it. Yet now she is suddenly all over him. Pregnancy is a mother for those who've had children. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, what is a beautiful thing? What has gotten into you? He asks her in a between kisses. What do you mean? She pulls away and starts to giggle, like a little girl. He checks her head again, and it is healing nicely. He wants to make sure that lump in the head, you know what I mean? Bonnie, I need you to look at me and answer me truthfully. Can you heal? Of course I can heal. We all can. She is confused by his question. Now, a week ago, when you angered me and I punched the wall, you saw me bleed badly, didn't you? She nods and recalls that evening well. He had so much rage in him, and it terrified her. But he had more rage in him when he flipped the dining room table against the wall this morning. And she cringes at the very thought of having to relive it. Yes, it was a bad wound. At least I thought so at the time. Why are you asking me this, Malcolm? Well, Phoenicians heal quickly. We don't die very easily either. Not like you. And he pauses. No, not like Tartarians and humans. Okay, she responds, but she doesn't understand what point he is trying or attempting to make. When you had that scrape on your knee all those months ago, how long did it take for it to heal, he asked. She responds, but I can't remember. A few days, maybe about a week. It wasn't a very bad scrape. Why, Malcolm? What are you trying to tell me? She takes her hand and brushes his face and looks him deeply in the eyes. Do you remember what happened today? He goes on to ask her. She shakes her head and begins to rub her stomach. I can feel them. She takes his hand and places it onto her stomach and smiles. He can hear and feel them. She wants to change the subject, but he won't allow it. Bonnie, what happened today? He presses her gently, as he should. What do you mean? She is getting irritated now. Nothing happened. I wanted to visit Henry, but you said no. I just sat around and waited for you. I did hope you would change your mind, though, but you didn't. Oh. And I went down to the underneath to explore, but there was nothing in there, nothing at all. She starts to play with his hair. She is happy again, and the irritation is gone. My name is actually Daphne, she smiles. But I like Bonnie too. She kisses him, and her hands are all over him. He doesn't stop her this time. He likes her wanting him. They lie in front of the warm fire, their bodies intertwined, and she remembers seeing the scar on his back. What happened to you? She pauses and decides to rephrase the question. What I mean is, you have a big scar along your spine. How did you get that? My mother, he clenches his jaw. My real mother did this to me. She tried to kill me. What? She cries out in horror. How could she do that? Why would she do that? I am an abomination. She never wanted me. She was forced to have me, Bonnie. He kisses her shoulder, and she can feel his warm and tender breath all over her neck. Just like you are forced to have my abominations. He carries on, so she gave birth to me, and then she tried to kill me. But what she didn't know was that we don't die so easily. In fact, we heal very quickly, and there is only one way to kill our kind. But she didn't know that. No one did at the time. He pulls her in close, and it is as if he is talking to himself. She left me to die, but I didn't. There is a moment of awkward silence, and then he breaks it. Azrael punished her fairly for what he did, and hung her shortly thereafter in the city square. As a warning to the others, I will show you one of these days if you would like. His voice is calm and collected, and it creeps Bonnie out. How do you know all this? I mean, you were just a baby, she asks. We remember everything from the moment we are born, just like you. He catches himself and wants to change the subject. I'm sorry. She must have not seen any other way out. She touched his face and kisses him gently. Now will you tell me why they chose to conquer us? Why us and not another race? No, I can't, Bonnie. He gives her a soft kiss, but his lips barely touch her skin. I am sorry. She is disappointed and she doesn't hide it, but she accepts what he tells her calmly. He holds her tight in his arms and lets her fall asleep, while he wonders why she healed the way she did, It bothers him, even scares him, because it is not normal or natural. He will be visiting with Azrael later this month, and he will ask him about this then. Things carry on as normal. She enjoys her reading lessons and his company a lot more. He makes an effort to not be as controlling, and she appreciates it. It is Sunday, late afternoon, and she is asleep on the bed. He looks over at her and he starts to pack his things for his trip to New York to visit Father Azrael. Yes, had sex with his mom. He was born. She wanted to kill him, so he tortured her and hung her. Something is bothering him. He isn't sure what it is, but he doesn't like the thought of leaving. Very perceptive. Excuse me. Oh, anyway, the thought of leaving her behind, and he decides to take her with him. Last minute, she's excited. She has always wanted to see more of the country, and this will finally give her the opportunity to do so. Malcolm is happy that she agreed to come with him, and it puts his mind at ease. He didn't even have to convince her. She jumped at the opportunity to come with him. And he tells her this is a work trip and mentions nothing about Azrael. She can't know anything about him. It would be the death of her and him if that were the case. She can't know who he is. No one can. Men like him stay hidden. That is how they want it. They control others and their hands never get dirty. When things go wrong, there will always be someone to take the blame. Excuse me. And money can buy you that kind of power. Kind of makes sense? Azrael owns or at least co-owns all the press, the banks, and even the farms. No one truly owns anything in reality, but they just think they do. That is the beauty of the tax system he created. The humans work for a living wage, but pay 50% of it to the state through taxes. They think it is fair and don't question it. They are taught to accept many things from the age of 3 years old, 3 and 4, and why would they question anything else? Now, Azrael is an ugly being. All heaven bearers are clumsy looking creatures, but he is by far the ugliest of them all. Once they choose a host country, they take on the host form, in this case, the Tartarian form. They can never match the Tartarian's true beauty or elegance, no matter how hard they try, nor can they achieve the pure blonde hair and blue eyes. But they are cunning, evil, and devious, which makes them smarter than a Tartarian. They hate anything good, pure, and perfect. Their biggest satisfaction was having the Tartarian women bear their mongrel children, and pollute their pure bloodlines. They didn't expect to create another perfect yet subservient master race on equal footing to the Tartarians. And we'll pick up the next part tomorrow. You know what? I'm gonna use this one again right here. Let's put this one right here. Because next he's going to New York, and it gets pretty interesting, guys. Matter of fact, it's really interesting. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Anybody else come in? I appreciate all tribe. I truly appreciate the new individuals that have joined in. I love you guys. I'll be glad when they start freeing it up so many more people can watch. I've done what I could do. You know what I'm saying? I know there's plenty of people that come and they do end up watching it, but they marginalize the videos and they do things. So, like I said, I don't fret about it. Like I said, if they've got 1 million, they need 50 million. So if they don't mind those numbers, seeing how they want to do what they're doing anyway, it will always come back to the root of the source. So that's for them, not for y'all. Yeah, the ones who implement it. So the next one can take over. The next one, it doesn't matter. It's just the way it is. Let's get into a behold. Let me see. Let me see if I'm going to read this right now, because this is when we start getting into like, okay, because y'all remember what we were reading before, right? The responsibilities. And so the next was going to be going into Article 2, the new states, which gets very interesting. And that is, we're going to read that. You know what? Would y'all like me to read that in the morning? Because it is it is a little bit. It's not long. It's about a good 25 minutes, breaking it down, about 25. So what I could do is come in the morning, because I really don't want to talk about nothing. I would prefer to wake up and read. And then I want to read something else that's fairly new. I want to share this little information with you. It's a tidbit. Research it when I share it. So what we do tomorrow, because we already crossed the hemisphere of the proposed constitutional model for the new states of America, all right? We got into Article 1, all right, the rights and responsibilities. We hit the responsibilities. Next is Article 2, the new states. And I believe that is very important, and my apologies for not reading it, but like I said, I get a little frustrated. I don't know what's wrong with people. This is with purpose, regardless of if you see it or not. I figure like if you don't want to show up, you don't want to come, this, that, and other, donate a few dollars to keep buying books until the hammer falls and you're sitting there going, why didn't I listen? I figured you could do that, you know what I mean? And I appreciate you guys. I'm not here to beat you up. This morning I shared, I hope it was meaningful, and I hope you were able to take down some notes, go back and watch it again, and appreciate it. It does help the channel. If you watch it a few times, it's counted. With 24-hour break, I have so much information. Like I said, I don't know a lot, but I know some things, and there's so much I want to share. And like I said, time is getting short. Just gotta trust me. It is. All right? Don't give it energy. Don't think beyond the scope. Don't be chaotic and all destructive. Like, you know, time is short. Remember the two most powerful weapons? Patience and time. You should be out of patience because you really don't have that much time. Too bad teachers and all the liars and the people in your family didn't teach you that. What I tell you this time? That's all you heard about time. But get your ass upstairs. I ain't got no patience for this nonsense today. Your ass up. I told you this time was going to happen. Like every time is not about deficiency of motivation and movement or a particular distance or anything like that, as far as to get from A to B. But this time, meaning an exemplary of a fraction of ass whipping, verbal abusage, everything disproportionate from order, but establishes more chaos. Chaotic. That's okay. I hope that made sense. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Jay Davis, what's up, beloved? Yeah, nothing but love, brother. Still working on a lot of things. Like I said, I mean, set that podcast up. Like I said, wanted to talk, and then I said I wanted to talk, and then we could get some individuals who might have a little insight. We just don't want to do the jibber jab, but things that you could take and you could utilize. The problem is, like I said, in Texas and a few other places, you have these institutionalized doesn't matter how well they dress or how they walk around. You have these people who have recessive genes, and most people aren't aware of where the recessive gene is. Sometimes it's with less compassion, as it whittles away from compassion. You know, more desires of pain and suffrage, an attitude of we are the great and everybody else is a subject, when that is not the case, and yet that exists. And stealing children is part of the diaspora of these bastards. And sometimes that's why it would be a beautiful thing to redirect focus, get like the Punisher, get quiet, get yourself geared up, and make the connection with like-minded brothers with another purpose, because that's where we're at. No matter what anybody thinks or believe. But y'all didn't want to come here, and y'all didn't want to join together and go to people who got land and sit there and work your asses off for a short period of time, but also train your asses off. So it is what it is. Okay? So I appreciate you guys coming in. Right at 52 minutes. Love. Respect. All right? If anybody donates, I turn that notification off. I'll respond in the morning. Obviously, when I check it, I'll hit the heart as I always do, but I'll mention your name, and I appreciate you guys, I really do. Okay? And yeah, my hair is all a little jacked up, y'all, so I got to shave and all that, so it is what it is. That's why I got my lambs on. I also got them on because with all this stuff. Did anybody try that with the steel wool around your phone? Or your tablet? Somebody said it was a gimmick, and then somebody, a friend of mine, the Marine, did it and says bullshit, but he had to do it on a certain surface. Anyway, whatever. I'm not going to do it. I don't care. I know we're being roasted from inside out, but I respect and love you guys. Y'all have a good one, all right? Watch the other videos, y'all. Come on. Share it with some people, man. It's not going to kill them, all right? Oh, it's new. Thank you, baby. I got it. Thank you, baby. Love you. Oh, I'm whipping this up first thing in the AM. Y'all have a good night.